August 2023 has a strong emphasis on self-discovery, emotional revelations, and finding balance between individuality and community. Multiple planets are moving through a retrograde, encouraging introspection and a sort of reassessment of our desires, values, and relationships. Overall, it's a month of growth, transformation, and finding harmony within and around ourselves. But let's dive deeper as we look at each individual week now. This month literally starts and ends with a full moon, a very special framing for the coming month of August. Full moons are connected to harvests and things culminating in a way. And with 2 full moons this month, there might be a lot bubbling up emotionally. Our first full moon falls on the 1st of August in the sign of Aquarius. Here it opposes the current Leo sun. This polarity highlights the conflict in our lives, between our need for individuality and our need to feel part of a community. Emotionally, we might find ourselves fluctuating between extremes this week. On one end of the spectrum, we might be overly confident, whilst on the other side of things, we could end up dealing with deep-seated insecurities. As the week goes on, our perspective might shift towards a more positive outlook as we start reframing our issues as opportunities for growth. We might now recognize that through facing our deep-seated issues and embracing change, we end up transforming our lives for the better. As the week ends, spending time in our place of comfort is recommended, as it could help ground and ease the internal turmoil we might be experiencing right now. Questions regarding our independence and authentic expression of love might be popping up around the 2nd week of August. There is a tendency to analyze current and past relationships for recurring patterns as we explore deeper and the more feminine aspects of ourselves. At the same time, a square between Venus and Uranus seems to indicate unexpected changes and unconventionality in regards to our relationships, values, and/or finances. Our need for independence within these areas of our lives could also further increase during this transit. All things studying and socializing become favored around the 10th as Mercury trines Jupiter. Optimism and good fortune connects with the matters of the mind. Travel is more likely now, and philosophical topics become seemingly more appealing to us. This is generally considered a good time to revisit plans for the future and adjust them, if they no longer align with our deepest needs anymore. As the 2nd week ends, there is a strong emphasis on personal expression, creativity, and healing. We are encouraged now to see beauty in human weakness and find it within ourselves to have more compassion, not only for the people around us, but especially for ourselves now. On the 16th, we see the new moon of this month in the sign of Leo. New moons symbolize new beginnings, and in this sign we might find ourselves looking for new ways to enhance our self-confidence, our sociability, and our creativity. Leo is associated with the archetype of the Fool, the inner child within us all that is truly excited to go on an adventure and has to yet be weighed down by outside expectations and social norms. During this new moon, we are being encouraged to care less about what other people think of us and have more pride in our individuality instead. As this new moon squares Uranus, we might also see disruptions in our routines and plans now. This transit is also associated with having ants in your pants. Not literally, but the feeling of craving movement but not really knowing what to do or where to go. There's also a trine between Uranus and Mars happening, facilitating assertiveness and artistic expression. Uranus clearly has a very strong influence during this new moon, leading to the topics of independence and individuality coming up a lot on our collective minds this 3rd week. We might now find ourselves really challenging societal norms and expectations in an effort to carve a space out for ourselves in which we feel will be accepted. By the 4th week of August 2023, Venus and Chiron have been in retrograde for a month. Retrogrades have us dealing with our internal world. They symbolize a time of introspection and retrospection. And when it comes to Venus's retrograde, we have been called to introspect on our desires, our authentic self-expression, our love for self and others, and the pleasures of life. This lasts for a total of 6 weeks, with 2 more weeks left. Chiron's retrograde, on the other hand, lasts until December of this year, signaling an inward journey of self-discovery in which we are to confront our deepest wounds and insecurities in an effort to grow from them. This applies especially in matters of personal identity, self-confidence, and assertiveness, as this retrograde is happening in Aries. What I'm trying to convey is how we might have been spending maybe a little too much time in our heads, thinking about how we are perceived or how we want to be perceived. As Venus squares Jupiter on the 22nd, challenges related to overthinking might start popping up, and as a result, we might be confronted now with our excessive desires and expectations. Maintaining clear boundaries and staying motivated could also become more difficult than usual throughout this week. As the Sun enters Virgo on the 23rd, our focus becomes seemingly even more detail-oriented. Taking care of practical matters and reorganizing could help us get back on track now. On the same day though, Mercury joins the retrograde club whilst also in Virgo. Mercury retrogrades have a notorious reputation for making our minds hazy and communication difficult, so we might really try to establish some sort of structure now, but we simply can't quite do it. Only 2 days later, a Mars-Pluto trine could help us take decisive action towards overcoming our obstacles, and with the Moon entering Capricorn on the 26th, ambitiousness and responsibility comes easier to us. Capricorn is also associated with pessimism and self-doubt, and as the Sun opposes Saturn a day later, such feelings might increase. We are once again being called to reassess our expectations and maybe be more realistic about our own abilities, without judgment though. Throughout these potentially pretty challenging times, it is important to remind ourselves of practicing temperance and having compassion and patience with ourselves and the people in our lives. As Mars enters Libra on the 27th, we tend to seek balance in our actions and relationships. It emphasizes the importance of a more diplomatic approach in our assertiveness, especially in regards to our close relationships. And we have another retrograde. Are you keeping count? Because this time it's Uranus in the Earth sign Taurus on the 29th. The planet of innovation and unconventional change is asking us to review our values, our comfort zones, and all material things throughout the rest of 2023. We end the month just like we started it, with a full moon in the sky. This full moon occurs on the 31st in Pisces and is conjunct with Saturn. This suggests a time of emotional revelations in which we are able to access a more somber look at our own emotions, but potentially also a more judgmental one. Just like the Aquarius full moon on the 1st, this lunation deals with balancing polarities. Our need for order and our visions of expansion are needing balancing now. The key to set balance lies in identifying and expressing our spiritual needs while still maintaining order in our everyday lives. Otherwise, we might end up overwhelmed in the chaos or feel stuck in the routines. And with that, we have reached the end of the month and the end of the forecast. August has a total of 5 planets in retrograde, plus Chiron. So with such a potentially introspective month, please don't forget to be extra compassionate with yourself now. Thank you so much for making it up to here. I hope to see you soon again. Namaste.